Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the Thrustmaster Virtual GP 2017 Championship. Today, it is round number 9 at a sunny Monza, Italy. My name's Matthew Gallagher, and joining me in the commentary box once again after the summer break, it's Justin Sutton.
Yep, glad to be back. Really looking forward to this one. It is the fastest circuit on the calendar and loads of opportunities for overtaking. And this race is crucial for the championship as well, as Štefanko needs to pick up here as many points as he can. And
the reason he needs to do that is because Michal Šmídl is not here this afternoon, meaning that every single point Štefanko scores will be going into that deficit, that 20-point deficit that he has. So if he wins this race, he will be leading the championship coming out of it. And we have a rule change as well. Drivers have to use at least 2 different tyre compounds today. It wouldn't be a proper competition without some prizes. So the organisers of Thrustmaster Virtual GP have secured some top prizes for the best of the best. So the overall winner will get a very special chance to test drive a Formula Renault 2-litre car in a private test session thanks to Effective Racing. It's a very popular car amongst junior drivers. It has 210 brake horsepower and it weighs 510 kilograms, so it's pretty nippy. And it means it's also a proper racing beast, I am told. And it's helped Effective Racing to achieve a lot of its success and the overall win in the Carbonia Cup. Second place will get a chance to test their driving skills in a special test day in the Kart Birel ART KZ2 kart with 50 brake horsepower and racing tyres. Vega accelerates 0 to 100 kilometers, 0 to 60 miles an hour in 3 seconds. So the test will be organised by a professional racing team, Joker Racing, a very experienced and successful team, and drivers will get coaching by one of their top drivers. And finally, third place. Unfortunately, they did not win or get second, but third still gets a prize. It's a free set of tyres by Hankook Company. Hankook are very well known for being a tyre maker with their products available around the world. They are known for high-tech innovations and commitment for safety on the roads. And tyre abilities of their products are then tested by some of the best drivers in the world, as Hankook is known as a big supporter of racing and tyre supplier for many series. All of this would cost over £3,500, so this is a perfect opportunity for some of these guys to win some great prizes. And here we are riding on board with Polesny around this fantastic Monza circuit, one of the fastest circuits on the calendar, as we come towards turn 1, braking it just before the 100-metre board there into a very tight chicane. You want to make sure you don't hit those sausage curbs, otherwise the car will be particularly unsettled on the exit of turn 2. Again, you can full throttle now through this right-hander. It's not particularly a corner. It's not really going to be testing the drivers too much unless they're going side by side, that we've seen in real-life Formula 1. As we come to the second chicane of the lap, braking hard again, trying to avoid those sausage curbs that are on that second chicane as well, basically to make sure the drivers don't do any corner cutting. Into Lesmo 1 we come. Nicely done from Polesny, and now into the second Lesmo. You want to make sure you get a good exit for here because it's a very long straight down towards Ascari. And there's the first DRS detection line you just saw there as we come flying underneath the bridge towards Ascari, which is probably one of the trickier corners on this track. And as you can see, the car just, the back end sliding out through that left-hander, and now onto, well, towards the final corner. The lap is almost over already. It's a very quick lap, this Italian circuit, as we now cast our minds towards Parabolica, the final corner. You want to be taking quite a tight line in, but get on the power as quickly as possible. Run the car out wide, but not onto the white lines, otherwise the car will unsettle. And we're coming over the line for a fast hot lap around the Italian Monza circuit.
So this is how qualifying shook up, with Hanzik actually taking pole position with a 121.755, 76 thousandths of a second ahead of Polesny. Jan Sikora following up in third position, and Martin Štefanko languishing down on the second row of the grid in fourth position, just ahead of Zubek Lishkak. Bashko, Blazek, Lucas, and bringing up the rear, it is the DX Racer car of Castilla.
Here we are then on the grid. And we've got Štefanko down in 4th position. This is going to be interesting as the lights come on now. Honzik on pole position. And it's lights out and away we go for round number 9 here at the Italian Monza circuit, and it looks like Honzik's got a pretty decent start, but it's going to be quite tight into turn 1 as Štefanko and Sakura are exchanging places down towards turn 1. That's Sakura in between the middle of them. That's Honzik being pushed wide. Sakura going over the... Oh no, Zubek, sorry, getting pushed over, with Honzik getting a great exit and overtaking both of them. There's contact towards the back of the field as well. The BenQ car going across the chicane. Polesny looks like he's now leading the race by the looks of things, and it is very tight going towards the second chicane of this first lap, and it's Polesny in the lead ahead of Sakura, and Honzik down to 3rd position. Štefanko wasn't able to make up any positions, but Sakura was so late on the brakes going into turn 1, going in between Polesny and Honzik and causing all kinds of incidents into that turn 1, Justin.
Yeah, I think it was just about fair. He was optimistic for sure. I mean, that was pretty nuts going 3 wide into that first chicane here at Monza, but I think it was, you know, just about fair, but he's going to slot into 2nd position behind Polesny as Štefanko now gets a great run heading into Ascari, overtakes Honzik, puts him down into 4th position. The pole man is now down into 4th. It's not been a great first lap for Honzik here. He is going to pick up the slipstream. And he could possibly make a move on Štefanko. He'll have to do it around the outside of the Parabolica here. He's got him covered pretty well. Yeah, nice, fair racing between the two of them, but can Honzik come back at him? It's tough to see who's got the better exit, but it looks like Štefanko might actually lose out here. Meanwhile, Daniel Liškák as well getting involved. We're going to be 3-ride once again into turn 1, into the first chicane here. And is Honzik going to lose out once again? No, he's going to hold on to that 4th place position, but no, he catches that sausage curve that you have warned us about, Matt, and that has definitely hurt him. Honzik now down to P5 with Zubek already hounding him.
Honzik has had the worst first lap of his career, probably, without having a crash at least, and he's now coming under pressure from Zubek, who's going up the inside into this second chicane. Honzik brakes very late, though, and defends the position well, and that just shows the confidence he has under the brakes, and that's Sakura going down the middle, and then that's Zubek just not fancying any of that first chicane. I think he maybe thought that there was going to be some serious collisions there, I'm not sure, but he rejoins. And after overtaking Honzik, oh, that's the collision with the BenQ and Lynx car there. And we're now on board with Štefanko, where he makes that move into the Ascari chicane ahead of Honzik. And Štefanko, I'm surprised he was so far down in 4th position at qualifying, but he's managed to make up 1 position so far. But he really needs to win this race if he wants to be in the pound seats going into the last 3 races of the season. Martin Štefanko, the new guy, down in 10th position at the moment. We're now on board with Štefanko going into the final corner Parabolica, and it seems like Polesny and Sakura have got some pretty decent pace at the moment.
Yeah, and actually Kostelik actually lost that position to Blazak. He did make up a position at the start of the race in all of that chaos, but Kostelik actually losing that position once again to Blazak, back up into 9th position. Honzik now coming under attack once again from Zubek, defends the inside line. Zubek's going to have to go the long way around the outside. Doesn't quite work out for him, and Honzik's able to take the apex for the second part of the chicane and can actually turn his focus now towards Daniel Liškák, who has done well here historically at Monza in the VGP series, so he's definitely one to watch out for. He could potentially be a podium threat, but at the moment he really needs to worry about Honzik as he's getting very close to the back of him. Actually, I think, yeah, they've actually swapped position. Honzik has made the overtake, but Liškák's actually going to come back at him. No, not into the Lesmo. And actually, he's now got Zubek just behind him. Ooh, slight contact there with Zubek, and that's definitely going to turn his focus towards the car behind rather than ahead, as Honzik has built a little bit of a gap, and now Zubek on the offensive heading into Ascari here.
What's really important for Honzik at this stage of the race is just getting back up to the front, guys, because if they start using the slipstream to their advantage, Polesny and Sakura and even Štefanko, and have a 3-way train going, as long as they don't do too much battling, they'll be okay and will pull away from Honzik, as we now have Liškák coming onto the, well, actually they're going to be side by side. Zubek into the final corner. Who's going to come out on top? Zubek's on the inside line, takes a deeper later on the brakes as well, but that means Liškák can get better on acceleration and traction through Parabolica, and they're going to be side by side once again as we start lap number 4. And oh, who's that trying to get involved? That's Bashko. We're going to have another 3 wide going towards turn 1. Who is going to come out on top here? The slipstream seems so powerful, and they are still side by side. Who's going to come out on top? Zubek looks like he's just about got the line, but he runs wide, and that means that Bashko gets the pair of them. Thank you very much, he says, up into P5, and it looks like on the timing screens, actually, Štefanko is right behind Sakura, and here we go. We're having a look at Štefanko trying to get back up into P2 and chase after Polesny, who seems to be getting away a little bit. Sakura not particularly consistent at the moment, even though I did say he had some decent pace, running wide through Lesmo 1, and now into the second of the Lesmos. Can Štefanko get a good exit? He cannot. He actually runs a little bit wide onto the grass there, so that's not going to help, and he has to continue on in 3rd position. But we've had some fantastic racing already, Justin.
Yeah, this is a lot of overtaking already. Not even done with the 4th lap of 27 in this Italian race, and yeah, already lots and lots of action, as we might see Štefanko actually making a move for P2 here. Hanzik actually not too far off in the distance. He could still get involved. Looks like Štefanko is going to get the inside line on Sakura heading into the Parabolica here at the end of lap number 4, and that's going to be a pretty straightforward and easy move for him. We could see Sakura try and come back at him, and actually Blazek and Lishkak now going side by side. Blazek now up to P8. He's made a move on Robin Lucas for P8, and he's now pressuring Lishkak. He's going to pick up the slipstream here, as is Sakura on Hanzik here. We're going to see some more side-by-side action. No, not quite. Hanzik very late, too late onto the brakes. He's into the grass.
Štefanko.
Štefanko, excuse me. Oh, I apologize. Štefanko now is going to lose out to Sakura. Sakura with a much better exit, obviously, actually staying on the circuit. He's going to stay ahead of Štefanko, but the slipstream seems very powerful. That may have been a clever use of Kurz there. I'm not entirely sure, but Štefanko, a little bit of wheel banging heading into the second chicane, but he is going to get the job done with Sakura with the better exit. They're still side by side heading into the first Lesmo. Inside line for Sakura. Surely that's going to be the better way around there, and he does hold on to that P2 position. And here comes Hanzik now. He may put the pressure on at the second Lesmo. No, not quite, but of course we've got this long run down towards Ascari, so we could see Hanzik here pressuring for a podium position.
Oh, it's absolutely crazy. So Michal Šmídl doesn't turn up, and for some reason Štefanko doesn't seem to be turning up either. He's having a bit of an issue at the moment at the start of this race. He's in 3rd position. It's not too bad, but we're used to seeing him and Šmídl just being the class of the field, and instead it seems like Polesny is the one that's the most consistent and not producing any mistakes at this stage of the race. Over 3 seconds ahead of Sakura in 2nd place. As I mentioned a few laps ago, the slipstream really does seem quite powerful, as Štefanko goes a little bit wide there. That's not going to help his grip trying to get off the exit of Parabolica, but the slipstream does seem so powerful, which is giving drivers a really good opportunity into turn 1 especially to make an overtake. So that could be quite interesting if we have 2 drivers that are really similar in lap times. They could just start swapping positions lap after lap after lap, as we have Zubek, and that's Štefanko locking up again. He makes another mistake, and that's going to mean Honzik's now right on the back of him, and he may well lose this position, Štefanko, as we come towards the second chicane for the 6th time. And it's going to be so crucial if Honzik does get through here. He's going to be on the inside line, but no, Štefanko breaks later this time. Oh no, Honzik is ahead. That was my mistake. Those 2 liveries are so similar. Honzik is ahead of Štefanko now, and Martin's down to 4th position.
Yeah, this is incredible stuff. Hanzik now back up into 3rd as well. Meanwhile, Polesny is just kind of taking away. He is off into the distance. He's got around a 3 or 4 second lead over Sakura. And then Hanzik not far off Sakura, and Hanzik, of course, very close to Štefanko as we head into Ascari once again for the 6th time in this race. And Štefanko, I think, has picked up a slightly better exit. He is getting a better slipstream than Hanzik is. He's not going to be able to make the overtake into the Parabolica here, but he could be setting himself up for a fantastic overtaking opportunity into the first chicane on lap 7 here. It doesn't look like he's carried quite as much speed, picking up a bit of dirty air effect, of course, with that being a 4th gear corner through Parabolica, but now he gets the slipstream. It's a very long run down towards that first chicane. Hanzik's going to position himself to the inside for the chicane, and he's going to force Štefanko to have to go around the outside. Who could be later on the brakes? We know Štefanko has not been confident on those brakes into that first chicane. Meanwhile, a little bit further back, Lishkak trying to put the moves on Blazek for P7, and it's not quite worked out for him, but he is pretty close to him as they come out of that chicane and through Curva Grande, so you could have another opportunity here into the second chicane. Back on board with Štefanko, though, who was not able to find a way past Hanzik. It does look like he's a little bit cleaner through that chicane, just looking at the racing lines compared to Hanzik. And it's looking a little bit cleaner for Štefanko on that particular occasion, but he just really seems to be struggling on these brakes, Matt.
Yeah, he really does. There's been a few lockups already for Štefanko, just showing that he's perhaps not particularly comfortable with the setup. Maybe he was a little bit lackluster knowing that Šmídl wasn't going to be turning up this week, and he thought, I'll just cruise to another victory and take the championship lead. But instead, he's down in 4th, and he's still going to be 8 points behind with 3 races to go at this rate, so he really does need to pick it up. I'm assuming he had a bad qualifying rather than the fact he genuinely is off the pace, because once he made those moves, it did seem like he did have some raw pace in him and possibly the fastest guy on the track, but he hasn't had that consistency with the brakes, especially as we've got Zubek and Bashko going side by side around Parabolica. Who's going to come out on top on this? Zubek is ahead at the moment, but I don't think it will be for very long, as the slipstream, as I've already mentioned, is very powerful indeed, and he pulls out right now. And that's going to be side by side once again down towards turn 1. Who's going to be the last of the late breakers? Zubek looks like he's braked a little bit early, but no, the lock-up there from Bashko means that he's actually going to lose a lot of time to the rookie of Zubek, who maintains 5th position for now. But that could be quite a crucial gap that's just been formed there from the mistake by Bashko, and he'll have to work very hard to get back into the slipstream. But one of the things that I think this track, from what I've seen already, is testing the driver's patience and the driver's kind of knowledge of the circuit and where they should be making moves and where they shouldn't. Because, for example, going down... who's that off?
That's Hanzik! Or Štefanko, that's Štefanko!
Štefanko's made another error! He's down to 6th position! Oh my days, what is going on for this round 9 Italian Grand Prix? Štefanko is having an absolute mare. He's going to try and take 5th place back from Bashko. I bet he can't believe what's going on here, Justin.
Yeah, this is incredible stuff. I mean, I don't know who's going to be more shocked, us or him. I'm not sure if his preparation for this race was hindered or something like that, but this is obviously not typical behavior for Martin Štefanko. We don't see him making mistakes ever. We don't see him making mistakes when he's got the reigning champion piling pressure on the back of him, and there it is, another braking error. Yeah, another lockup for Štefanko, and that's going to put him off into the gravel, and his racing skill is what keeps him from binning it into the wall, but that's certainly going to hurt him in this race. I don't know if he's even going to be in contention for the lead. He's got so many cars to get through. He's got to get by Zubek, who we know is a fantastic dogfighter. He can really get wheel to wheel with people and be a fantastic defender. We've seen that before from him. Hanzik as well is not going to be super easy to get by. Sakura seems to have incredible pace, and then up in the lead, almost 5 seconds away, you've got Polesny. So I don't know if I mean, it's got to be damage limitation at this point for him.
Yeah, there must be something fundamentally wrong with his brakes. Maybe he hasn't got it set up properly in terms of his actual physical seating position. But these guys do practice beforehand, so you would assume that they've got it to the millimetre so that they don't have to do any sort of adjustments during the race, or qualifying at least. So it seems like, yeah, maybe just the setup is not working for Štefanko at the moment. But either way, he's down in 5th position now, and he's really got a lot of work to do if he wants to challenge for the podiums. Hanzik seems to be closing in on Sakura for P2, but right now Polesny looks pretty comfortable out in front. And it'll be quite interesting because these guys have to go onto a different compound of tyre. They can't use the same compound as they've started on, so we won't see any more mediums this race unless we see a 2-stop, which is highly unlikely unless there's an incident of some description. But we've got an interesting battle here for P6, I believe. Bashko, Blazek and Lishkak. The Ben Q car of Blazek having a little look. Oh, there's another lock-up there. Is that Štefanko again? It is! Štefanko's made another error into the first chicane. I saw the lock-up and the plumes of smoke. Fortunately for him, he didn't lose too much time, but I have no idea I don't really know what to say right now. So we're going to focus on Blazek, who's battling very hard for P6 up the inside in that Ben Q car, and he takes P6 after facing the wrong way at one point.
Yeah, he was. It was not a great start for him, but things are looking much better. In fact, he might be overtaking Štefanko pretty soon here. I bet he wasn't expecting that. But yeah, really incredible racing we're seeing. I mean, we're not even at halfway distance yet, and Blazek actually, it might have to defend into Ascari here. Nope, not quite. Karl Baško in the effective car is going to stay behind for the meantime, but he's going to follow him nose to tail out of that Ascari chicane, and then Lishkak also getting involved, who I think was up to 4th at one point. He's now down into 8th. We might see another 3-wide battle into the Parabolica. No, not quite. Baško, though, going to try and go around the outside of the Ben Q car. I don't think that's going to work out for him, and he may actually end up losing out to Lishkak, which we can see in the timing screen is going on right now. Hanzik, though, all over the back of Sakura. Sakura having to go defensive into that first chicane, and there it is again. 3 wide into that first chicane at the start of lap 11 here, and oh god, it's just not going to work. It's just, you cannot fit 3 cars through that corner, and Lishkak does come out on top. He was just in 8th position. Hanzik makes a little contact with Sakura at, I don't even know how fast they're going, probably in excess of 190 at that stage of the circuit, though. Back on board with Baško as he's having to defend from the Ben Q car into the second chicane, but no, it looks like Blazek just having a little peek, just letting him know he's there, as these guys are just nose to tail, just nothing in between them. Blazek up the inside on Baško at the first Lesmo. It looks like he's actually going to make that move stick, and then at the second chicane, he will put a nail in that coffin, and he can now turn his focus towards Lishkak up ahead. And that's, of course, though, if Baško doesn't come back at him, yeah, he's come back at him. That might be clever use of curves there. Oh, getting very close between them as they head under the bridge into Ascari now, and Baško, no, is up into P7, but of course, long run down towards Parabolica here. Man, I said in the opening, there's a lot of overtaking opportunities. I had no idea what we were in store for.
No, there's been so many 3 wides. I don't think I've ever seen that many in a racing series, let alone just one round. So this has been fantastic driving, and it's been dearie me! Both the drivers making a bit of an error there, but Baško,
a bit of drifting now.
What happened there? I think he forgot which racing spurt series he's in, because that was definitely not any Formula Series lines he should have been taking. So Baško loses the position, may have got a little bit more tyre wear, but fortunately for him, that's all it was. It seemed at one point he might be heading towards the barriers. And now we cast our attention back towards the battle for second place. Sakura looks a little bit more comfortable now with Hanzik behind, but at the same time, you can't really be that comfortable when the slipstream is so powerful around this track. And something that I was wondering and just kind of pondering as you were talking, Justin, is out of all the racetracks we've had, why is Štefanko struggling at probably the easiest one of them all?
Yeah, that's really strange. I think you touched on this earlier. There might be some sort of fundamental setup issue that he's experiencing right now. Either that or he's flat-spotted his tire in just an enormous way, and it's just a cascading effect. I can only speculate, but it is very strange as Baško once again going side-by-side with Blazek into Ascari. Wow, with the inside line, just really wasn't able to make that work. As a good defensive line from Blazek there holds on to that P7 position. Lishkak is really taking off into the distance, and we didn't even mention this map, but Robin Lucas is not far off this battle as well. So if these guys keep going side by side,
4 wide.
Yeah, exactly. Let's get 4 into the first corner, because 3 just wasn't enough. Hanzik now once again onto the back of Sakura. It does look like Sakura is going to hang on to that position as they head into the first chicane. Hanzik is practically pushing him through as they head towards Curva Grande now, but I think we might see an overtake attempt here. He's picking up a heck of a slipstream off of Jan Sakura as they head towards the second chicane now. He's going to get the inside line. Sakura was not able to defend that coming out of Curva Grande with the inside line, and with the slightly later braking go, he squeezes him onto the apex.
No.
Contact between the two of them. The T-Mobile car resumes in second position, and here comes Peter Zubek.
Zubek's just, oh my days, it said 0.1 seconds, so I think Hanzik turning in there was a little bit close. But, oh, that was, yeah, I'm not sure why Sakura just didn't give up the position, if I'm honest. This is just gifting the victory to Polesny at the moment. He's now 8 or so seconds down the road, and now Zubek is all over the back of Hanzik as we come towards Ascari. Round the outside of here, that'll be pretty entertaining, and he's done it! Zubek round the outside of Hanzik, who perhaps even yielded the position there, didn't fancy another side-by-side manoeuvre, and we're going to get a replay here of Sakura. I'm not sure why Sakura's trying to hang it around the outside there, around this chicane. It's 2 does definitely not go into that chicane, as now Zubek's up into P2. He's taken Sakura as well, and Petr Zubek is on an absolute charge.
And I said he was good in a dogfight. I was not wrong about that. He is going to have to defend from Sakura, though he's going to come back and try and reclaim that second place position. I mean, he's held on to it for 13 laps just about, and he really wants to take that back. And with that inside line, he is going to do exactly that as Hanzik tries to get cheeky around the outside of the second half of that chicane, but it's not quite going to work out for him. He is going to pick up a slipstream here, but of course Zubek going to pick up the slipstream off the T-Mobile car.
Was there a little bit of a hand gesture there from Honzik?
Oh, I missed that, if there was.
Yeah, down in the bottom left, I think there was he was definitely driving one-handed. I'm not sure if there was a little gesture there to say what is going on here, guys. But yeah, a little bit frustrated there, Yaroslav.
Yeah, that's not something we usually see. I mean, he's usually all smiles. We haven't seen a lot of those sorts of hand gestures from these drivers throughout the entire season, and not just from him, but I can imagine that this is an important one for him. This is a big one. Obviously, Šmídl is gone. He's not necessarily all that close in the title fight, but this is a big opportunity for him to pick up a serious haul of points. I mean, that is 18 points just ahead of him in that T-Mobile car. Of course, he's got Zubek in between himself and Sakura. Oh gosh, he is frustrated. He's looking around, heading down the straight. Actually took his hands off the steering wheel.
There's something wrong. I can't imagine. Maybe he's got some damage and he's just pretty frustrated. I'm not sure, but either way, very, very frustrated is Honzik, and he'll probably be looking in his mirrors soon as well, because Štefanko is not too far behind after that incident. And Zubek now on the racing line towards turn 1. Can he get past Sakura this time? He's going to try and outbrake him. You see him lock up there. He'll have the inside line. Sakura trying to hang it round the outside, and they're going to be side by side. Honzik could get the pair of them here if he is lucky, but he gets squeezed a little bit onto the grass there. There you go again, another hand gesture. What are you doing, Jan Sakura, says Yaroslav Honzik, and I'm liking the fire from Honzik, and Sakura's going to go round the outside potentially of Zubek, but Zubek holds that inside line. Honzik tries to get a good exit, which he will do. Sakura tries to come across into Lesmo 1. Can Honzik take the position? Oh, they're getting very, very feisty. Sakura stays ahead for now, and Honzik is on fire, but not in a way that he probably wants.
Holy cow, and Honzik's coming back at him here. Sakura really not picking up much of a slipstream off of Zubek with the inside line. Honzik into Ascari. I think he's going to reclaim that third place position. Yes, he does fairly easily. He can now turn his attention towards Zubek up ahead. He still needs to worry though. Sakura with an incredible exit out of that Ascari chicane is going to pull ahead, I think, even before they get to the braking zone. No, Honzik is still there, very late onto the brakes, and just really holding on to that.
Yeah, but Sakura will get straight past him now with the slipstream. I think that's what he tried to bait him into.
Surely. Yep, and Honzik complaining on the straights even, so I think he might be lacking for straight line speed, as Sakura possibly giving us a great example of that right now. Goes up the inside into the first chicane, and he does look like he's later on the brakes as well by comparison to Honzik. Honzik's going to be able to take the better racing line out of there though, which is going to leave them nose to tail as they head through Curva Grande, and he's going to, oh gosh, he actually makes contact with the T-Mobile car. There's a slight contact between the Thrustmaster and T-Mobile cars there, and I think that's going to prevent him from... Oh, no, he dive bomb up the inside and actually gets the move done, but no, he comes back at him. Sakura comes at him. Štefanko now smells blood in the water. He's going to try and sneak up the inside of the first Lesmo on Honzik. He's gone very wide, almost into the grass, but Štefanko gets pulled out wide as well. Slight contact between them, maybe even, as they go through the second Lesmo now. And Sakura is losing lots of ground to Zubek now. Zubek 2 seconds ahead. Štefanko focused on Honzik. This is unbelievable stuff.
Yeah, it's fantastic racing. Probably the best of the season so far with the amount of wheel-to-wheel action we've seen, but Štefanko battle joined, potentially not for second as Zubek's getting a few seconds down the road, but certainly for third position as Sakura and Honzik. You could just tell, when you were talking there, Justin, I was like, I guarantee Honzik is going to throw one up the inside after that. And yes, he did. And my days, that's just showing his frustration with Sakura. I mean, there's not too much dirty driving as far as I'm aware. It looks like he's got enough straight line speed in that slipstream, but he's topping out, so he can't actually get past Sakura with his gear ratios, it seems, which is very odd to see, because all the other drivers seem to be absolutely fine, but the amount of contact Honzik and Sakura have had, I'm surprised they don't have each other's liveries. So Sakura is now coming under pressure again, and Honzik's going to take the inside line, which will be the racing line into the second chicane. But will Sakura stay there? He will, and there's more contact. Surely there's going to be someone in the wall soon. And there's Štefanko who gets the pair of them. Oh, we just saw that coming. And Martin Štefanko takes third, but goes wide. He locks up again, and he's going to lose the 2 positions that he just gained in the chicane. This must be the most frustrating race Štefanko has ever been part of.
This is unbelievable. I don't think I've seen anything quite like that. I've never seen somebody gain 2 positions and then lose both of them in the very next corner. I genuinely don't think I've ever seen that happen before. Certainly not at Monza, and Sakura is actually going to lose out pretty heavily out of, and Hanzik with some more gesturing. I imagine this is the incident that he's gesturing about. Oh yeah,
he just squeezes it. He
says that's my line.
I reckon.
Yep, he definitely did. He says that is my racing line to take, and that's what allowed Štefanko to get by the pair of them as we move on board with him in the replay. And he has no idea what's going on. He even has to move over into the grass as we're into the pits now. Hanzik getting some team radio from across the room. That's the great part about all these guys racing, and he's shaking his head as well. But we are into the pit stop phase now. Hanzik, Štefanko, Sakura, Blazik, Bashko, Lishkak, Lucas, all into the pits. Really just Polesny and Zubek, who I imagine will be reacting to that at the end of this lap.
So coming out the pits now, Štefanko is ahead of Hanzik, and oh my days, look at that, Hanzik catching Štefanko sleeping, it seems, and they're now going to be, once again, side by side. I think there's more side by side action than there is single file, as Hanzik now in 4th, but he's going to have to slipstream down towards this notorious chicane where we've seen so much contact, but that's some grass there Hanzik goes onto, and I'm pretty sure he just exclaimed again with his mouth this time, as he was too busy with 2 hands trying to keep the car in a straight line, and there you go, there's the shake of the head. Hanzik is fuming here for this round 9 Italian Grand Prix. Polesny's probably feeling like he's just having a Sunday stroll out in front. Everyone else is crashing into each other, but yet the 2 guys up front are yet to pit. But Štefanko up into P3. Can he start to stretch the gap now and get away from this chaos?
Yep, and of course P3 would put him within 5 points of Šmídl with 3 races remaining as well. So that certainly wouldn't put him, on the front foot or anything like that, but it would do a lot of good. Any points he can pick up here are going to be significant, and I think Zubek and Polesny really might be out of reach for Štefanko, and we'll see exactly how much ground they picked up by coming into the pits a little earlier than the leaders, as Polesny has actually continued on again. I mean, he's got the gap, he's got he's comfortable enough with the lead he has to do that sort of thing, but I think that's a bold choice
Štefanko making another mistake
to continue to stay out. Oh gosh, and Hanzik's all over the back of him, ready to capitalize, as is Jan Sakura as well as they head through Curva Grande. We could see a 3-wide battle here. The only one picking up the slipstream is the T-Mobile car as he gets very close to the back of Štefanko, and we're not going to quite see 3-wide, but we are going to see Hanzik. Oh, and a little bit of a tap there between the Republic of Gamers car and the T-Mobile car as Štefanko has to go over the sausage curbs. That's going to lose him some time and some ground to Hanzik up ahead, who has reclaimed that 3rd place position here on lap 19. But how long can he possibly hold on to it? I mean, if the rest of this race so far is any sort of indication, I don't expect that it's going to be an easy time for Hanzik as our race leader, Polesny, into the pits for a set of soft tires, one would assume, unless he's going to go onto a set of the super softs at the end. That would be a bit of an unnecessary gamble, in my opinion, as we move on board with Lishkak. He's been up and down the order. I think we've seen him in 4th and 8th and all over the place. Right now he's in the middle in 6th position, and he's actually closing in on this 3rd place battle.
It's not over yet, and Polesny has gone onto the soft tyres, so he really had free reign of whenever he wanted to pit, so he just left it a few laps later. He has fresher tyres for the end of the race, and he is cruising to the first victory for him of this season. And well, dearie me, this is going to end in what I can only see as tears. There's not really much else that I can really see happening here, especially with Hanzik frustrated, but he's up in 3rd. He's pulling away a little bit as Sakura now closing in on Štefanko. Will he have a little look into this chicane? He's going to have a try down the inside. Štefanko has everything to lose, remember. He hops over the chicane. He's going to lose that position to Sakura. And hello, Daniel Lishkak, as he tries round the outside as well as Štefanko, but cannot do anything into Lesmo 1. What about the second one? I don't think so. He'll be looking for a good exit more than anything. And my days, Štefanko really does not have the pace today, and Hanzik is pulling away. And one thing I was thinking, as actually, I'll tell my thought in a minute when the action stops, as we have Štefanko coming back at Sakura up the inside into Ascari. and takes that position, but I can only assume for about 5 to 10 seconds, as it is now the slipstream train, and Lishkat could find him passing both of these guys as we come towards the last corner. And shock, 3 wide. Who would have ever thought that would have happened again before the end of the race? And it's Stefanko's now down to 6th position, ladies and gentlemen. The championship protagonist, the man in 2nd, trying to chase down an absent Michal Šmídl. It's only in 6th, and now we've got Sakura and Lishkat side by side, and Stefanko's going to try and get involved as well into turn 1, and it looks like Lishkat, who is back up into that 4th position that I'm sure we've seen him at some point during this race, and probably in every single position bar first. And Stefanko's going to have another go once again. Oh, dearie me, Sakura quite slow in a straight line, it seemed, not picking up as much slipstream there. And Stefanko had to be very quick with his reactions. But I think Honzik in 3rd place is quite clear of this pack now. And what I was thinking of why he was so frustrated is I think Honzik has actually geared his car thinking that he's going to be leading this race, because he was topping out in the slipstream really early, and he qualified on pole position, did he not? Or 2nd? Well, he was very close. Yeah. He was on pole, wasn't he? Yeah.
That's a good shout.
So obviously he thought he could push away, you know, with those sort of shorter gear ratios. He's quicker in a straight line a little bit, gets to that top speed quicker, but it also means he can't overtake, and being down in 3rd, it'll be interesting to see now if he can catch Zubek with those shorter gear ratios.
Yeah, that's a very good shout. Yeah, I hadn't even considered that. Yeah, he may have tried to Vettel it, as Vettel used to do in his Red Bull days, and it just didn't work out for him, with him losing out on that lead fairly early on in the race, getting involved with all of these battles and everything. But now that he's got that clear air, and I think it's worth pointing out as well, look at the gap between Stefanko and Blazek, as Stefanko now actually making the move on Sakura once again, does move up into 5th position. And Sakura looking like he was maybe trying to pick up a slipstream there. But yeah, you can see Blazek less than 2 seconds behind Bashko, less than 2 seconds behind Blazek. Lucas less than 2 seconds, or around 2 seconds behind Bashko. It's an incredibly close race we're seeing for this essentially 4th place position. So 4th through 9th, I want to say, are separated by about 10 seconds. This is some of the closest racing that we have ever seen in VGP throughout this entire season. This is truly incredible stuff. Honzik, though, as you mentioned, has broken away from this, so he can actually focus a little bit, and focus a little bit less on his hand gestures and that sort of stuff. But it is truly fantastic to see the passion that we're getting from these drivers. To see Honzik getting so emotional in this race is truly incredible, and it's one of the reasons it's so great to have these webcams for these drivers and have everybody racing in the same building. It adds a whole other level to sim racing, and it's really welcome to see. On board with Stefanko, who again is down in 6th position, not far off of Sakura. He's not going to have an overtake attempt into Parabolica here at the end of lap 23. Just 4 laps remaining. And Stefanko, I think, won't be able to do any better than 4th. He's gotten a much better run through Parabolica compared to the T-Mobile car. He's going to have the inside line heading into the 1st corner, and it looks like he's got the top speed advantage as well. He's just about on his right-hand side. I think he's just about getting that nose past him as well. But, of course, he has been lock-up Mick, not Breakerson in this race. It's just not been working out for him. But he does manage to get it all slowed down. Maybe he's liking the soft tires better. It may have just been, like I said before, it may have been a lockup early in the race that caused a flat spot that just had a snowball effect for him potentially. But Sakura comes back at him, very late braking for the T-Mobile driver into the 2nd chicane, reclaims that 5th place position. And it's incredible to think that these guys were battling for 3rd position not that long ago, and they are really starting to fall back now as a result of all this battling. They're really dropping off.
Yeah, with the result, as you say, the battling is now bringing in Blazek and Bashko, and Lishkat has now dropped these guys. Stefanko really can't just get the job done and start pushing on through the field. It just seems like he gets caught up in one battle, loses a position, then gets caught up in the guy behind catching up. And he's just falling further and further down the field. He's in 6th position. May I remind you, everyone that's watching, only Šmídl and Stefanko have won a race in this Virtual GP Championship. They have dominated it as he goes up the inside into P5, but only for a few seconds. I'm sure Sakura will dive straight back into that slipstream and cause all kinds of nightmares for Stefanko down towards turn 1. But no one else has got a pole position. I'm pretty sure, well, most pole positions have either gone to Stefanko or Šmídl. I don't know where Martin Štefanko is today. And I'm not sure why, if he is at all nervous, why he is nervous, because Šmídl's not here, as they're going to get very tight into that turn 1. Sakura takes the position once again, and we are going to be saying hello to Blazek very shortly indeed if this continues. and I bet they are licking their lips at the fact there might even be 5th place on the table, as Štefanko and Sakura once again holding hands down towards this second chicane. Who is going to come out on top this time? I'm assuming it's going to be Štefanko with the inside line, but it will compromise his run through the second part of the chicane, but he's just about okay, I think, as he goes a little bit defensive, covers off that inside line, and Sakura will have to try once again down this next straight, and we now have battle joined with Blazek and Bashko. Štefanko could end up in 8th position here, Justin.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. He is still in a double-digit points position. If he were to finish in 5th position, that would put him just 10 points off in the championship compared to Šmídl. And you were completely right earlier. Every single pole position in this season has been Šmídl and Štefanko at 4 apiece, at least in the previous 8 races. Of course, neither of them grabbing pole position in the 9th race here at Monza. But yeah, it has been the Šmídl and Štefanko show when it comes to qualifying in the 2017 Thrustmaster Virtual GP season, and it's obviously a big shakeup that we're seeing in today's race. Liškák, unbelievably, Liškák is actually pulling away from Štefanko. I mean, I know he's still battling with the T-Mobile car as well, but it's just unbelievable to see the shakeup that we've seen. And we know that Liškák has had...
locks up again.
Yep, once again, I mean, mercifully for him, he's only got to break into turn 1 2 more times in this race on lap 26 and 27. But it looks like Sakura, with the better run out of that chicane, is going to get the outside line for Curva Grande, inside line for the second chicane, and it's going to be a fairly straightforward move for Sakura on this particular occasion. But see, and Liškák has just lost out.
What's happened there?
I don't know if he's run out of fuel or what's going on.
No, he must have made an error.
I would assume so. He's going to lose 2 more positions, actually, to the BenQ car and the effective car. Bashko putting Liškák down into 8th. I mean, we were mentioning earlier how Liškák has been up and down and all around, and it's unfortunately looks like it's going to end up with him in 8th position. Oh, he is really struggling with that TP lane car through us. Oh, yeah, you could see the snaps, the twitches, as he is just fighting that car. Just 2 more laps remaining for Liškák.
Can't believe it. Look at his face cam. He's absolutely gutted.
Yep, I can only imagine what he's feeling right now. But start of the penultimate lap now for Štefanko and Sakura. Thankfully for them, their day is just about over. I can imagine this race has felt very long for both of them.
Yeah, indeed. And Štefanko may well take 4th position once again, but it's going to all be about who takes the lead of this little battle into the last lap, because I'm sure there's going to be some kind of dive bomb going into Parabolica on the next lap from whoever is behind, and Sakura in the slipstream once again. But I'm just so confused as to what's happened here today, and oh dearie me, goes defensive this time. Štefanko on the inside line, that's going to compromise once again his line through the second part of the chicane, but he gets a good enough run from there, and probably just as we've literally had 27 laps of action. I'm going to have to mention the Driver of the Day vote is on the website, which is scrolling on your screens, as well as a competition for luxury Swiss watches, thanks to Satina, is on the website, which you would have also seen on the overlays. And the competition, the top 2 are Mavic with 125 points and McLaren Honda with 118. Yes, so this has been something else. I mean, Liškák really was proving that, yeah, he's had some good results in the past. He's won here before in the first season, and he had such a good result coming up for him today, and then just bottled it. And someone waving? Someone just waved to the screen? I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure someone just waved to the camera, or I'm not sure. Maybe it was a fly. I don't know. But either way, the last lap has been begun by Polesny, who is only 4 seconds ahead of Zubek now.
Yeah, could potentially just be managing his tires. You know, he doesn't want to throw anything away. He doesn't want to take any unnecessary risks or anything like that. So he may have settled down and is just managing the gap at that point. As, oh my God, was that Štefanko again locking up into the first corner? Well, that is the last lockup into the first corner we are going to see from Martin Štefanko in this Italian Grand Prix. And it's just not gone well for him. It has not been a great day for Štefanko. It's not been a great day for Hanzik. He probably thinks he could have won the race. He probably did have the pace to win the race, but it just did not work out for him with those potentially short gears that he thought he was just going to be leading from the race. But it is clearly not over between Sakura and Štefanko here as they head.
Štefanko must have made another mistake, because he was pretty much home and dry.
Yep, he's very wide, and I think we're going to see an overtake attempt, possibly not into Ascari here, but possibly into Parabolica.
Well, we'll have to hold on and wait for that one, but we have a new winner in Virtual GP. And it is Polesny who has absolutely dominated today. He has not shown any mistakes. He comes over the line to win round 9. And, wow, well, whoever that is just wanted a high five. And
Bashko.
Absolutely sacked off there.
Oh, no.
Oh, dear me.
No high fives. No
high fives at all. And it looks like Štefanko is going to come home in 4th position ahead of Sakura, which means the gap between the top 2 is now 8 points. And, well, what a drive from Polesny. I bet he cannot believe it. That was, wow, we need a break. I need a bath. I need something. Polesny gets the fastest lap as well, which means he gets an extra point. And, well, dominated at the top. Zubek in 2nd place. Honzik 3rd. Štefanko down in 4th position. Sakura 5th. Bashko 6th. 7th Blazek. 8th Lishkak in the end. He is going to be fuming with that. Lucas 9th. And unfortunately, Kostelik was down in 10th position. And there we go. 8 points separating the top 2. And what a race that was, Justin.
Yeah, that was truly incredible. I mean, we've seen 1-2s from Šmídl and Štefanko at every race this season except for Belgium. And this is the only other time that we've seen anybody else getting on the podium. Štefanko isn't even on there. Šmídl's not even up there. And there is the man of the day, Polesny, picking up the win. Huge congratulations.
He's loving that, isn't he? Thank you very much for watching round 9. We'll see you next time.